So again, to navigate to your Capstone project part 3, you could just go to the Moodle homepage. Underneath your Capstone projects and presentations, you have your part 3 right here. If you go ahead and download that document, it will bring up a really well-made document that details the portion of what we're going to be working with here. And essentially, what we wanted to be doing in this one is adding in the graphics and finalizing your kind of menu for the class. Now, I would say that at this point, if you did add in images and stuff already, that's fine. Again, I do know that some folks like to do a bit more work or skip a few steps or anything during their works. That's completely fine too. But for this one, what you're going to be doing is adding in some graphics into your image. And I'll show you the Capstone presentation. If you read through this, I would recommend it as well. It is really nice to take a look at. And let's see here. Yeah, it's really nice to take a look at and read through. But I'll also just do a quick presentation of what is expected of you guys for this project. So I accidentally forgot to save one of my images here of the previous one I worked with. So if you could excuse my kind of poor menu here, but let's just say that this is the menu that I submitted for our Capstone presentation part 2, where I've added in my text and my colors and all of my presentation items as well. And let's see if I still have a few left over. Seems like I kind of reset my photo piece, so I lost all my work there, but that's completely fine. Let me go ahead and just type in logo or food name, and then let me increase the size of it. Let's make it white. Where is that? There it is. Sorry, everyone. Great. So that's my food name there. Delete these ones. Awesome. So let's just say that I quickly put together a little, type of menu here for my Capstone part 2. I don't want to download any ones to show it off or anything just yet, because that's for later on. But let's just say this is what I submitted for my part 2. And again, your part 2 is supposed to be way more made out than this one, so don't try to get away with submitting uncompleted work due to this. But what I want to show off as well is, okay, for your part 3, you're supposed to be adding in your food images. So how do you go about adding in the images of the food that you have on presentation here? Well, there's a few links to websites inside of your Capstone part 3 explanation file. You can see here that we have Pexels, Pixabay, FreePic, Flaticon. Pixabay is really good. It's what I usually use, so I'm just going to copy it, paste it in here. Daisy. And if you see when I pasted it up at the top, I still have that kind of like circle on it. So you could just delete it. And as you can see here, we'll change that to English. There's a bunch of free pictures here that you can look from, but I'm looking for food. So let me just go type in some pizza. And now there's a bunch of pizza you can choose from. You can do clip art if you'd like, but I would say getting the high resolution, like actual images of it is really useful. This image here looks pretty good, so I'm going to click on it. And you'll see here that you're given a bunch of options. And again, this is the similar layout for each of these websites you navigate to. There should be an option here. And you can just hit free download. You could select all of these. A word of warning is, if you could see here, this is going to be a really high resolution image. But you'll notice that it jumps from 370 kilobytes to 3.5 megabytes. So it's a much larger file. So what I would say is 1920 by 1080 is perfect for our usage here, because if you keep going bigger, you're going to slow down your photo P and your project, and you might crash, and I don't want anyone to lose work. But if you are going to go for the bigger guys, make sure you keep saving your work often, just in case it slows down or crashes. After I selected my size, I'm going to hit download. I'm not a robot, so I'm just going to download it again. And you'll notice I get an image down here that is in my downloads folder, and I can go ahead and drag it into my image here. And now you'll notice, okay, I now have an image, and how do I go about making this work really well for my shape to put it in there? Well, I know that at the top, I have my food name of my area, and I also have a type of, I have a few small boxes in here that I want to put text and images into. So very quickly, let me just, let me just move these folks over a tiny bit more. And then let me duplicate this layer just a few more times here. And what I'm going to do, and again, I apologize for doing this every time we talk about it. I should be saving my work more. But again, let's just say that these are the options I picked for my food items. Actually, it's a bit bright. Keeps creating text layers for me. Great. So, with my food name selected, let's just say that I named this one pizza, or whatever it is as well. And I have the name of the food, and I want to put an image in here because I have the name and the price as well, just so I can be on top of it as well. Could just change this to, let's just say, where's my dollar sign? Something like that, just, some placeholder text. Now, I just want to do a small example of how do I go ahead and get my pizza into this image here to look really well. Now, what I can do is I can go to my edits and free transform. I can make it a bit smaller, but you'll notice that it looks a bit weird if it's that small, and you kind of lose a bit of the nice quality of it that it had at the previous point. So how do I go about making this food stick into this area here? Well, if you recall from DM140, we did something with our clipping mask where we're able to clip something into another layer. So essentially, all you're going to do for this project is once you do the first one, it's pretty easy to get the hang of it. You're going to use the shapes and your layouts as clipping mask for your graphics. Now, how do I do that? Well, remember that a clipping mask has something clipped down into it. So meaning that the item you want to fit into that square needs to be above the square in the layer pane. Meaning, if you see here, I have my shape 2 that I can view and hide, and I want my pizza to go into that shape 2. What I need to do is put my pizza above shape 2 inside of my layer pane. Now I'm going to move my pizza up here, and after I do that, I'm going to right click on my pizza, and there's something called clipping mask I can click. And now if everyone sees, I'm able to get this high resolution image inside the confines of this little square. Now you'll notice that the square is a little small, right? So what I can go is hit my shape. I can go to edit, free transform, and I can actually make this a bit bigger if I'd like. Let me not make it too big here. And again, this one looks pretty rough, but I just wanted to show off what the is expected of this one and how to do it. And as you can see here, I'm able to clip my pizza into the shape that's here. And if you notice, the shape actually can navigate to the full size of the image. It's just that the image is hidden behind this shape. So now I have a bit of pizza in one image. Let me go up here to put in a bigger image as well. I saw these two, which look really nice. So I'm just going to download these ones. Free download. Not a robot, so I download that one. And I'm going to drag my hamburger in here. And again, I have my hamburger at the top. And you'll see I want to put my hamburger into where it says food name up there. And I might actually just hide the food name at the top because it doesn't make a lot of sense. So I see my shape 1 is down here. That is the top level shape. And I want to clip this image into that shape. How do I go about doing it? Well, recall that if you're ever going to put an image into a shape, the image has to be above that shape in the layer pane. So my shape 1 is the shape that's hidden. I'm going to drag my hamburger to be above shape 1. Right click on the hamburger and hit clipping mask. And now I have this nice little hamburger inside the confines of this shape here. And again, because clipping masks work like they do, you can move the shape around and it moves towards the image. you can select the image, and you can move the images around as well within the shape. And after that, you're pretty much good to go for most of your projects. So this is how you would go about adding graphics into your image. And as you can see here, in his designed logo, he used square shapes that are all the same size, downloaded some images, and put each image into the square shape there. Now, essentially, that's how you would add in a placeholder image. And again, the shape of the square there alters the shape of the image as well. Let me see if I can go ahead and let's see here. Let me look up one thing. Oh yeah, sorry, that's the item I was going to look at. Because shapes operate the way they do, what you could do is make a parametric shape. So I can add in another shape up here. Whoopsie daisy. Let me add it at the very top. And you'll see here, it's pretty big. But just for our example here, let's just say that you have, let me make this a bit smaller. Let's just say that you have like a hit food at your restaurant that you wanted to show off, and you have your shape down here. You can go ahead and look for, let's see here, maybe just fun dessert things. So you can download this item. I'm going to download this dessert item. Okay, never mind. I'm not downloading that one. Let me try to grab some pancakes. And again, sometimes the server will go offline or something, so you don't need to worry about it constantly. Let's see here. We're going to be able to download this one. So it seems like my Pixabay is being a bit odd here. Let me go back to the start. Let me just type in food. Awesome. See here. Just going to download this one. Great. And now, if you could see here, I'm going to grab in my shapes, and the exact same ideology applies to each of these, right? So I want to put this egg into my shape 6. My shape 6 is at the bottom. So I put the egg above the shape in the layer pane. I make the shape go over, or excuse me, I make the image go over to shape, right click, clipping mask, and now you'll see that the image takes the form of the shape that it's in. So you might be thinking, okay, if it does all this, what other shapes can I use? Well, you can use an ellipse, and you can make some really cool designs with an ellipse. I'll show you a nice one maybe up here. I can maybe get this one here because it's circular. Okay, that costs money. Uh-oh. So these are all expensive. And again, these are all free, so you shouldn't be paying anything for these. This one looks nice. And again, this might be repetitive looking, but I just wanted to show off what the potential capabilities of each of these are. Again, I put my circle over my shape, right click, clipping mask, and now you can see I have my fruits inside this nice little shape here. So again, my menu looks very bad because I just made it now, but what you're going to be doing is essentially what I did here. You're going to be taking your wireframe menu from your part 2 and then using clipping mask and clipping objects and graphics into that image there. And again, any shape can be used, and the cool thing about that is you can use custom shapes as well. Let's see here, I have a heart image as well. I can bring out a heart shape. And, oh, well, let's try to get a shape that's pretty full. Let's see here. I have a rounded square down here, so I have a rounded square I can bring out. Let me go ahead and find one more image to use. Let's go back. Let's see here. Something like this. Download this one, and then I can again bring my image above my shape, have it here, right click, clip my image into the shape above it into pane. Now you can see I have a nice little square rectangle around this burger image here as well. So again, this project is essentially about creating graphics and adding it into your image. And at the end of it, you should pretty much have the exact same wireframe that you started out with. You can add in some words and names if you'd like. You don't need to, if you could see here, he calls it this food name and he uses lorem ipsum. It's up to you. If you just want to keep the text like placeholder, that's fine. Or you can go as crazy as you'd like with the text as well. But that's essentially what you'll be winding up with for your project, Capstone Project 3.